Today's segment of Sound Balming is brought to you by Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Body Care. I cannot express to you how much we love their products. Although we use them all year, as the weather gets colder, we need these products even more. The dreaded drop in temperature, the dryness, the itchiness, and the unnecessary flakiness is inevitable. Shea butter from Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Body Care is the only thing that works for my skin and hair needs. Not only do these products cure my dry skin, the whipped butter goes on smoothly and doesn't leave that uncomfortably thick, sticky residue. Bonus? It smells absolutely amazing. There are so many different scents to choose from too. Not only do they carry skincare products, there are products for authentic living, face, shower, hair and beard, spritzers and perfumes, and bath products. Let me tell you, we cannot even keep the stuff in the studio. The entire production team as well as all our children use Jimmy and Mary's product. Jimmy and Mary's take pride in creating quality, handcrafted products from simple ingredients for the entire family. Their products are made for all skin types and are 100% handmade, 100% vegan, and 100% cruelty-free. Skincare is important. Moisture is key, and keeping our skin and hair hydrated is essential. I cannot emphasize how much we trust Jimmy and Mary's for all of our skincare needs. Hurry on up to jimmyandmarys.com and check out their products. Did I mention service is fast and efficient too? Don't forget to mention that you heard about Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Skincare on Sound Balming. Use the discount code SOUNDBALM20 to get 15% off. That's SOUNDBALM20 for 15% off at Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Skincare.
Hey everybody, welcome to Sound Bombing. I created this show for people who want to experience a radical, life-changing journey through the sounds of my diverse guests. I hope that each sound you hear on this show will strengthen your faith, encourage your dreams, and challenge you to awaken the greatness within you.
Drop the bombs. Drop the bomb. We're gonna drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We're gonna drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We come to drop the bomb. Drop the bomb.
This is a journey into sound. A journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new values, and a new experience.
Lamar Darnell Shields.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to my show, The Best Hour Online. Yes, I'm your host, Dr. Lamar Darnell Shields. In the building, I am the creator of Sound Bombing, and my goal with this show is to introduce you to the people with ideas that will help you unlock your full potential. Like my last guest, Sterling McKinley, who talked about binge-worthy branding and digital marketing. Sterling and I had an amazing time reminiscing on the days of Blockbuster, how they're now nowhere to be seen, and talking about all of the technology that you can use to brand yourself. And this is going to go right in line with my next guest, who's patiently waiting right there. Again, I want to just take some time thanking all of you all for tuning in. I don't care what platform that you're using. We're on all of them, and we want you to leave a comment. If you like what we're doing, let us know what we're doing, that you like that. If you don't like what we're doing, please let us know. Also, if there's some guests that you think will be amazing on this show, you know, we know everybody. A lot of these people are people that I work with, have relationships with, or people that I read about. And so we want to invite them on the show. Thank you for donating. If you have, if you're not, you can donate for the show if you would like. Go to buymeacupofcoffee.com/soundbombing. Again, I want to just welcome my new guests. You are at the right place at the right time with the right people. And to my old bombers, thank you for hanging out with me. If you are new, I want to let you know that this is an amazing time to hang out, because every time I start my show, I started with the 3 breaths. I am a mindful meditator. I believe in the power of meditation and mindfulness. And with all this bull crap that's taking place in the country, we need to be more mindful and we need to be more in tune. That's how we become better people. That's how we develop stronger relationship. And that's how we become better at what we are called to do. Y'all heard what I said, what we are called to do. And so before I begin, I want to encourage you. And I also want to encourage my lovely guest who's waiting there, Miss Johnson, to put your hands on your lap. Palms are facing up. This is what we call our 3 breaths, our mindfulness breath. We start with 3 seconds, 5 seconds, and then 10 seconds. So we always inhale through our nose and then we sort of push out through our mouths. We're going to do that 3 times, 3, 5, and 10 seconds. So here we go, palms facing up. Everything is soft. Your face, your eyes are closed, your nose is relaxed, your face is relaxed, everything is soft. So we're going to inhale, hold it for 3 seconds, exhale. Then we're going to do 5 seconds, inhale, exhale, go a little deeper, 10 seconds, inhale, hold it for 10 seconds, push it out, exhale. What do we call that? We call that the breath of life. Sound bombers, the 2 most common reasons that people don't persist in following through and finishing a book is the fear of rejection by a publisher and what they perceive as a lack of time. Getting your book rejected is not necessarily a bad thing. There are many reasons why your book might get rejected, all of which have nothing to do with the quality of your book, so keep moving forward. The great James Patterson, who I have a lot of respect for, kept moving forward into the Guinness Book of World Records with 67 #1 New York Times bestsellers. But check this out. Come a little closer. Check this out. The first book he wrote and tried to publish was rejected over a dozen times. J.K. Rowling's books, Harry Potter, was rejected 12 different publishing houses, and the list goes on. If you don't feel like you have the time, then make the time. Reprioritize your life. Stop consuming other people's creation and start producing your own creation. Everyone has a story. You have a story. I have a story. And if you read my book, you know my story is amazing. You have a story worth telling, and there are people who will be blessed by your story. Well, our next guest, Christina Johnson, will help you understand and discover how to start first publishing your next book, maybe your second book, your third book, and to attract your ideal reader. Even if you don't know where to begin, and especially if you don't have a lot of time. Listen, you have time right now because we all are quarantined and we ain't going nowhere. So Christina is here to hang out with us. She is an award-winning educator and best-selling author who has helped over 1,000 individuals. Did you hear what I said? 1,000 individuals in 2020 plan, pen, and profit from their published books. Ms. Johnson is a visionary creator of Mompreneur 5-Day Author Challenge and the Power Pros Revolution. She's a certified youth at-risk communities trainer and founder of Testimony Publisher, LLC. She has written, directed, and produced scientific articles, curricula, short stories, poems, and stage plays. But guess what, Sound Bombers? She is here with us today to help share your story, to get you grounded and get you writing, because we want to know your story. Christina, welcome to the Bomb Shelter. How are you?
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm absolutely excited to be here. I'm a little nervous, anxious, all of that wrapped into one.
To be nervous about. You didn't help all these people write these stories. You've written curricula. Nothing to be nervous about. Be yourself. Listen,
I'm here.
Things I need to know. How are you doing? Because I like to do a mental check-in, and then let my listeners know where you are calling from.
Okay. I am grateful and I am blessed in this moment in time. A few minutes ago, I was happily overwhelmed because I'm not sure if you know, but my husband and I have 8 children. So we are.
Wait, let's stop right there. Stop. Pull the emergency brake up. Put the warning signs on. Put the flares outside. Did you say that my husband and I have 8 children?
Wow. Yes, I did say that.
Let's talk about that. 8.
Okay.
Let's start with the ages of 8 children. 8. You remember the TV show 8 is Enough?
I do remember the show.
There were no black folks on that dog. You believe none of those kids could have been adopted and been black or Asian or like, hey, give me those ages. Let me see if you know. Let's spit them out. Let's go.
Okay. Alrighty. 13, 12, 11, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4. So that should be everyone.
I'm sweating like crazy. Some of these women are like, oh, is this a blended family?
I actually birthed all 8.
Hold up, wait. All those 8 kids came out of that little body over. Ain't nothing, let's be real clear. Ain't nothing that women can't do. Ain't nothing that a black one, 8 children. We ain't talking about living on a farm 1920 when people had to have kids to take on 8. Let me tell you, sister. Man, I don't even know what we were supposed to be talking about now. I just want to talk
right.
about
It's a divine calling. It really is. It's not for everyone. Everyone has their own walk and their own ministry, as I like to call it. But yeah, my husband and I were definitely called to do this. So it's something really, really different. And I just want to kind of add, before I was married to my husband, AC, I had a child out of wedlock. Mm-hmm. So that's a whole nother sound bombing episode because he is now in the custody of his dad. So that's why I usually say my husband and I have 8 children because I actually birthed 9. So I just, have to give a shout out to all my babies out there.
Some ladies right now just crossed their legs. That's all I'm going to say. That's all. I'm not even going to go any further than that. But somebody is listening to this show just had to cross their legs and put them over their lap. So where are you calling in from?
All righty. We are calling in from 2 places, actually. We actually reside in Baltimore, Maryland. Mm-hmm. Our businesses, though, are incorporated out of Wyoming, and our administrative offices are in Nevada. So we're calling from like all over the country. But yeah, we're actually residing in Baltimore, Maryland. And that's where I was born and raised. So I'm happy to be here.
We're just happy. Listen, first of all, you probably don't care what we're going to talk about. As long as nobody is ask, Mom, could you make me something to eat? Mom, he just spit on me. Mom, I don't want to be around. The Wi-Fi is just falling apart. Can I go outside? Did you put your mask on? So you just want to hang out with me to talk about anything.
I definitely want to hang out with you, but I do have to say this. I am telling you, I didn't want to have children like for all of my young teenage and college years because I never saw a marriage work like I thought it should, like they were happily married. I never saw, someone be just overly excited, like in person, knowing a person, like I saw it on television and things like that. But in person, seeing someone absolutely overly excited, about being in love, being married, having children. And that was just what I saw. That's not everyone's story. So I was just not enthused about it. I wanted to go out. I wanted to accomplish goals. I didn't want anybody telling me what to do, what I had to do, the role I had to fit into. So this was not like something I planned. This is actually divine because when I married my husband, we didn't even plan on a huge family consciously. But subconsciously, we wanted a large family and we wanted to have that bond. But I'm telling you, my children are absolute joys. They are number 1 bestsellers themselves. They have a book coming out tomorrow, as a matter of fact, Hip Hop Hair. They are a collective of creatives. They do awesome things in addition to the arguing and the fussing sometimes. But
like, listen, if you don't come here, it's 8 of you all plus 1,
right?
You're going to bring something to this family. So you are going to write. You're going to go outside and do. So so you call yourself. I want to come back to the children's book, their title, but you call yourself a mompreneur.
Okay.
Explain to my listeners what a mompreneur is, and then it sounds like to me that not only are you helping other people write, your children are inspired to write. So talk about your title.
Okay, mompreneur. I really don't like to limit anyone to one particular title, but my clients seem to gravitate towards the mompreneur identity. So it was easy, you know, when someone called me a mompreneur, I was like, okay, yeah, that's basically what I am. So to me, that whole definition is, you know, a woman whose role is mother, but also has a role as entrepreneur because she's running either, you know, a side hustle or, you know, a small business.
First of all, how do you have time for a side hustle? Where is the side hustle?
Oh my goodness.
I just want to know what you drinking every day, eating every
oh my
day,
goodness.
blowing over there, locks this on fleek. Side hustle with 8 kids?
We actually have a couple. I help my husband to run his transportation company, logistics and transportation. We have Testimony Publishers LLC. And then my children, like I said, they have their book and they also have You Motivate Creations.
So Christina, when you hear people say, let's talk about women in particular. When you hear people say, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to take care of myself. I don't have time because I have children. What message do you have for moms? Let's talk to our moms out there who are sitting at home right now, quarantine, trying to figure out what the next move is. What message do you have for those moms when they say, I don't have time, or any entrepreneur that wants to do it?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I want to meet them where they are, because in their mind, not having time is their reality. So what I usually do, and I run into this all the time, I acknowledge that fact for them in that moment of time and space because it's real to them. I don't want to take that away. So in recognizing and acknowledging their belief that they don't have enough time, I just go into showing them that there is more than enough time. I mean, I've developed a 1,500 words, write 1,500 words in 15 minutes or less strategy. Is so easy. I taught it to my children and they've used it for their book to get up to, they got as high as #2 bestseller on Amazon, and they're still selling. So all of that came about during this quarantine time because COVID created a time for everyone to kind of reset and regroup. So my children started fussing a little bit more than usual. They started getting anxious and, you know, I saw a lot of things going on. So my husband and I, we set them down like we do in our weekly sessions. We have family, you know, therapy sessions, basically talk therapy. And we just talk it out. They can't get in trouble for anything that they say during that time. My husband and I can't come back during the week and say, oh, you remember when we were in the meeting and you said, we can't do that to them. You know, we do that sometimes. Our people
go back to your room and y'all have a huddle. Now, yes. Break the rules just a little bit, right? But I love that. I love that.
Yes. Yep. We do that. We do have those couple huddles, but I acknowledge my clients' reality, but in showing them proof after proof, testimonials, I have video testimonials, I have, written testimonials, emails, my children have done it. So if you don't have 15 minutes to write, then that means that you need to make time for at least an hour to write because it's something that's necessary. There are people waiting to hear how you've overcome stress eating, how you've lost weight, how you got away from an abusive relationship. People are waiting to hear that story. And if you hold on to it, that person may not be healed, helped, hope, given hope of some sort. So I always try to stress the importance of sharing your story because your story is not just for you. That's not your purpose to get yourself together, to make money for you and your family. That's not your sole purpose. Your sole purpose is to continue life. That's why we're here. And in doing that, sharing your story is one way that you can do that. And if you can write your story in 15 minutes and just get it out there, you can write it again. You can go back and add. You can have a series if you want. You don't have to write a 500-page book or a book the size of the Bible to help someone or even help yourself, because a lot of people think it's cathartic to write and get it out, like journaling and things like that. It helps us to work on ourselves. But if you can get a little piece out, it can help someone. And in helping someone, it can't do anything but come back and help you to accomplish the goals that you're trying to achieve.
Christina, have you always enjoyed writing? Did you struggle in school, middle or high school? And was there somebody that inspired you to get into writing? Or did you use it as a way of therapy? Or did you just say, listen, I got 8 kids while I'm nursing this one, while I'm changing this one, I might as well write something?
Well, I don't have the story where I was not a good student because I absolutely loved school. It was an escape for me because I was a child of childhood sexual abuse. So I was cynical, I was mistrusting. So writing gave me that safe place to go to so that I would be able to express myself without having to, one, fear, and then with two, without having to feel like I had to please someone. Because when you go through situations like that, you become like an over pleaser sometimes, or you just shut yourself off and you don't trust anyone. And then there are like the variations in between, of course. But I didn't want to exhibit those behaviors, but I did at times. But writing was the way that I was able to kind of get through that. And I wrote all the time. I have, award-winning pieces from middle school, high school, and in college, because that was just what I knew to do so that I could be me. It was sort of what kind of molded me into who I was becoming. So with all of that, I use writing also to connect with people, because I can be the type of person that stays to herself, but when called on, I can be that person that gets the party started, gets people talking and mingling. I love to do that as well, but I'm fine either way. But writing is that medium that helps me to get to that in-between space where I can kind of be reserved, I can be comfortable being me, but then I can also talk to people and share things that maybe I wouldn't say verbally. I can say on, how people do on the internet now, they say a whole lot when they tweeting.
Let me ask you, are you one of them do you send your husband these long text messages?
I am really a gift person. So I love to go in and send the little animated,
Oh, okay. So you don't send, because you know what happens in like these relationships, women send these long text messages and guys be like, okay, thank you.
Well, I talk a lot.
My daughter always said, like, why do you respond? I'm like, what else do you want me? She sends me like long text message. I'm like, okay. And she's like, I said, what are you laughing at? Your text message. I'm like, no, I'm laughing at your long-winded text. Like, I talk a lot, but I don't write a lot. You know what I mean? So there has to be some type of balance. So what's the one thing you've learned about yourself as a result of your journey as an entrepreneur? And are there any similarities that you see being a mom and an entrepreneur?
Right. I wanted to say this real quick when you were asking me about the writing, and I'm not going to forget to answer that about what I learned about myself. But I wanted to say I was always a good writer in school, but I have so many people who weren't good writers, great writers, and they were able to use the strategies that I share to write a book. So I have a missionary that I worked with. She was a high school dropout. She actually had teachers tell her that she would never do anything except work at McDonald's. She lived that high school life, so to speak, but she was able to go on. She got her high school degree after getting her PhD. She traveled the world as a missionary, and she's written a book now because of someone just kind of helping her along and believing that she could do it. So to go back to what you were saying about being good in school, you don't have to be good at anything except being you to write your book and your story, or a book or a story. So in reference to me being an entrepreneur and what I learned that I am an overcomer, just period. Anything that life throws your way, you can overcome. It may take time. It may take a whole lot of people, but you can get through it. I've gotten through miscarriages. I've gotten through 2 life-threatening surgeries. I lost custody of my firstborn son in an ugly, ugly custody battle. I've gotten through 3 failed businesses. It's so many different things. And I'm getting through parenting 8 children at home right now.
I know the thing I got through the parenting. I'm still working on that part right there.
Right. But you can get through it. It's just going to take time. It's going to take maybe a support system. And even if you don't have that support system, your faith will get you through it. And when you don't have faith, when you can't pray, because I've been there on those days where I could not utter a word of gratefulness, a word of thankfulness, or a prayer, and God's faith was what kept me. So just have faith and know that you can get through anything. That's one of the things that I've learned about myself through all of this stuff, because money comes and goes, businesses sometimes come and go, people come and go, all of these things come and go, and you're always left with you and your story. You're always left with that and what you're going to do as far as, are you going to take the positive route and continue on with your story? Are you going to take a negative route and either end your story or just go, down a disastrous path?
So how has motherhood helped you become an entrepreneur? And so what are those lessons that you sort of compare when you say motherhood, entrepreneur, maybe side by side?
Wow.
Similarity.
I guess the first thing that comes to my mind is when I had that second surgery, I was 6 months pregnant and I had to have surgery. I was totally down and out. I could not get around. I couldn't work out of the house. I couldn't even work in the house because it was just so difficult for me. So it took me about 2 years to finally get back to the point where I could kind of move about. But I just felt like it was so much more that I could be doing in that time. Even though, I had children, I was a mom. I've been homeschooling for like 2 decades almost now. But it was still something calling me to help other people. So that's where my 4-book series came in, the Conqueror's Cast series, because in one of my moments, I heard 4 words. And those words were faith, filter, forgive, and focus. So it was a whole bunch that went on when I heard those words whispered to me, I believe by God. And over time, they culminated into the 4 books. And those books help people to, one, have faith that your situation is not going to always be the way that it is. If it's a negative situation and you just got to get out. Filtering those negative thoughts, just like a filter. Those negative thoughts go in, people throw dirt on you. You just filter it right out and take only the good. Forgiving yourself for being in a certain situation, forgiving the people you think betrayed you or hurt you or did you wrong. And then focus on conquering until successful is the acronym for focus that I've used. And you're going to focus on whatever your idea of success is, whether it's just getting up tomorrow. That may make you a success if you're really down in the dumps or dejected or depressed, or if it's starting a business. Everyone doesn't want to start a business because of responsibility, whether it's writing a book, whether it's finding another 9-to-5 or going up in the ranks. So those are some of the things that I've been able to kind of do with writing. And then people have, been attracted to those things that I experienced in my low points. They're now able to use because I shared it. I wrote about it and I shared it.
So what's one thing that you can share with listeners they'll be able to do or implement as soon as this podcast is over? So as soon as we say goodbye, thanks for joining us, what's something that my listeners can do immediately?
Okay, well, the first thing, I think you've already touched on one of the things, and that is just taking a moment to breathe. The breath of life, is just so important for us. So they already have that aspect. But for me, I would say start with a list and write down a list of every single thing that you believe that you've already accomplished. Some people may say graduating high school. Some people may say they got an award when they were, in grade school or in college, or they got a job that they always wanted, or they got their, hair done last week and had a spa day. Whatever it is that you believe you've accomplished, write it down. The list does not have an end. And every time you hear those negative words come up that you can't do something, or you can't go a particular place, or you'll never achieve something, or you're nothing, or you're not enough, go to that list, whether it's in front of you or in your head, and you keep repeating those things that are on that list of how great you are, how special you are, how wonderful you've been made. And it will propel you. It will energize you and give you the power that you need in that moment to accomplish whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, or just keep going for another minute or two.
So out of all the books that you've written, what's the one book that just it's right here, except my heart? This is the one that means the most to me, because I have several books that I've written as well. And, my book, What I Learned in the Midst of Chaos, The Making of an Ubuntu Teacher, is really the one that sticks with me, because it was an opportunity for me to talk about my friends. I grew up in Chicago, for me to write about a group of Black, Latino Caribbean boys who struggle with fathers not being in our household. We struggled during the crack era in the late 80s, early 90s, but we all went to college. So that book always sticks with me, and it reminds me of how far I've come. Is there a book that you've written and or maybe a book that you've helped to go to publish that really just stuck with you?
Well, in reference to my books, I want to say Faith That Conquers, because it is a continuous reminder for me. I am not always the person that has the greatest faith in the room. Sometimes I talk myself out of things that I know are like easy, but because certain things come up, subconscious things that I'm still working through, Faith That Conquers, it continues to give me a place to kind of go to regroup and remember, what I said or what I believed before. So it's sort of like a journal entry. So it's prayers and meditations. It's different thoughts and revelations that I received during specific times in my life. And after each day, there is a prayer, and then there's like space to write for the reader. So whatever their story is, they can kind of share it. So I use my own books. So I just don't write and give to other people to do. Everything that I give to someone else, I've already done it or I'm doing it. So I always go back to that book, and I find that I'm adding stuff in still to this day because it's being refreshed and I'm learning more. I'm maturing. It's things that I'm like, oh man, I'll read it and I'm like, I was really in that place, but I'm not there anymore. And just to see the growth is refreshing for me, because it lets me know all of this is not in vain. I really am walking the walk, so to speak.
So I heard you say that you struggle with faith sometimes, and sometimes you need to quote unquote talk yourself off the ledge, or you talk yourself out of doing what you need to do. What advice do you have for my listeners that are tuned in right now who say my story is not important? Nobody wants to know what I've gone through. I'm afraid to let people in, because to hear, and I loved your transparency, to hear a coach who's helping people write their stories, but then for you to say, I struggle with certain things. What advice do you have for that person right now who has a story, but I'm struggling with putting it out there?
Right. I believe everyone has a story. So even the youngest person who doesn't believe they do, they have a story. And if you're living, you have something to talk about. And a lot of times we want to be on stages or get to the Oprah show or something like that. But it may be the person right next door to us that needs to hear what we've gone through so that they can continue on. It may be someone maybe on a Facebook Live that hears our story and what we've been able to overcome and conquer, that's able to overcome and conquer some of the things in their lives. So my advice would be, fear has killed the most dreams out of any person in the world. We stop ourselves from achieving goals. So don't be your killer. Don't kill your dreams before they've even had a chance to start. And start with that list. Once you start writing down the things on that list, you're Black in America. That's a story right there. You're a woman, who has achieved certain things in maybe her career, or you've gotten in this particular door or this window closed, but you found another way in. You have something to share with someone that may be one or two steps behind you that needs to be shared. So just try it. Start out with the list, write down those things, and then just keep going back to it. Keep thinking about that list, and your greatness will start to shine through, and something will click where you say, okay, I can share this. And then you'll share it. And I'm telling you, someone will come forth and say, I needed to hear that. It happens all the time.
What do you hope people gain from reading your books and or maybe the books that you help publish?
The books that I've usually helped publish have all been self-help, nonfiction type books, for the most part, 90%. The other books have been children's books that were motivational. We have an Adventures of Joshua that I helped to publish. We have the Hip Hop Hair. Then we have some other ebooks and blogs that I've also helped with. But for the most part, what we do at Testimony Publishers LLC is to help people start their own hybrid publishing companies. So we build their publishing company off of their book to start with. And then we show them how to monetize it, how to pre-sell it so that you don't even have to pay for your publishing, and how to continuously, sell your book in bulk. Because the one-on-one is sometimes hard and, difficult for many people with our schedules and things like that. But yeah, so that's what we kind of do. We kind of try and get people to share their story in sort of en masse, because you can, get to more people, you can make more money. And it's been so helpful for the clients that I've worked with. That's what they kind of want from me.
Talk to me about Hip Hop Hair. You mentioned it twice, the new book coming out tomorrow with your children.
Right here.
Show me that.
If you can see it.
All right, goes in and out. Okay, tell me about the book Hip Hop Hair. I love it, of course, because the green screen is changing.
Yeah, because I got the green screen in the back.
Is that a hardcover book or paperback?
We actually have the ebook, we have the paperback, and we have the hardback. And it comes in 2 covers. So if you get the paperback, it has like the bright hip hop, I'm in your face. And if you get the hardback, it has the gold, I'm all that 90s like hip hop. So, and then the ebook is the yellow cover. But Hip Hop Hair started because of 2 things. One, my eldest daughter, Abigail, she's a light-skinned, beautiful, vanilla, white chocolate, so to speak, complexion. But she dealt with complexion issues. In the beginning, when we noticed some of her talent, she loved to draw, she loved to design, and she used to create, along with her sisters, clothing for her dolls. So my husband went out, and I would buy them too. We went out, we just bought all types of the top-notch fashion model magazines, and we would bring them to her, but she never saw herself in them. Most of the top magazines that you kind of gravitate to that has the bridal magazines, the fashion, when she was a little bit younger, that's all there were that we saw because we didn't necessarily do our research. So then we had a conversation with her. And in that weekly therapy session that I talked to you about, we've been doing that for years. It came out that that's what she had an issue with. She was struggling with her identity being Black, but being a light-skinned Black girl. So my husband went full on Black power and we started doing the melanin and, we, came from Africa, and even though it was all sprinkled in there throughout, but we just kind of went full bore. And she was like, okay, well then if you do that, then I'm not dark enough. So it was a thing with her. So this Hip Hop Hair came about because we wanted to identify beauty in all of its aspects, especially for Black American boys and girls. And then with the COVID, the school closures and all of this stuff going on, we wanted to find a way to get it done in a fashion that was helpful for my children and helpful for other people too. So the children came up with this group idea that they wanted to be a collective. Christina Johnson, they wanted to create the book. They have a store, they have a fashion line. I actually have on one of their shirts now. I don't know if you can see that, but they designed all of the fashion wear. Yes. But Hip Hop Hair, it talks about hip hop and how it started, in the Bronx, New York, DJ Kool Herc and my daughter.
Lesson.
Yes, it's like a lesson. It comes with resources. One of my daughters is a DJ. So we have her website where you can go and listen to her music. You can go to their store. You can find out more about hip hop. You can do some lessons. So it's really an interactive type book. And we wanted to make it like that because we wanted it to be something that the children could use to kind of touch other people.
Well, we're excited about that. So how does that feel, Christina, that your children are following in your footsteps and they're doing what they're seeing that their mompreneur has been doing for other people? What type of feeling do you get from that?
Well, it's twofold. One, I'm absolutely elated because they're following in my husband's and my footsteps. They want to do something amazing with their lives, and they've already begun to do it. And then secondly, it's a little bit overwhelming because I now work for them. So when they come to
working for them since you had them, don't we work like I'm like the Uber dad,
I know it's
like the cash machine.
I'm telling you, I agree. Yes. But it's a little different for me now because they come to me and they're like, Mom, have you finished the press release yet? And I'm like, know the
feeling. I managed my 19-year-old daughter who started playing the guitar probably when she was 6.
Awesome.
Opened up for Ella May, Drew Hill,
yes,
Gina Bell. So I know the feeling of. I told my daughter fired me. So if you watching this show, she calls me Baba, which means father and Swahili. Baba, you're so dramatic. No, you fired me. I said, you fired your dad. But I know the feeling of having to work for your children.
Right.
They're reflections of us, and it makes sense for them to do what you're doing. So I'm so grateful that you hung out with me today and to share the story about your family, your children, your husband, and then also what it means to be a mompreneur. How can my listeners get in contact with you if they want to work with you to get a book published, and if they want to get copies of your children's book and the clothing line?
Okay. In reference to, I'll start with the children's book, hiphophairbook.com is where you would go to find out information about them, everything. In reference to finding out about writing, publishing, you can go to write2sixfigures.com, and that'll take you to whatever site I'm doing or whatever event or program I have coming up. And that's WRITETO, the number 6, FIGURES.com. I also have Linktree, and I'm on Linktree as Christina Marcia Johnson, my full name spelled out. So that's how you can kind of find out about us and what's going on. We also have a virtual hip hop hair story time coming up in December, the weekend of Christmas. And it's hosted and sponsored by MPT, Maryland Public Television. So that's going to be fun for the children while they're on Christmas break or winter break or whatever you call it. And then they'll be able to kind of join in and hang out virtually with my children.
I love that. I love everything that you are doing. What are some final thoughts that you have for my listeners?
I think my final thought would be based on this quote that I heard from Whitney Phipps. And he's a psalmist. He sang with Billy Graham.
Man, and is my man.
Right.
For his organization. I was one of their consultants. Know the brother, baritone, strong.
Yes.
Paul Robeson sounding voice. Yes. My man.
One of his quotes actually helped me to get out of the funk that I was in back in 2011, 2012-ish. And he said, "It is in the quiet crucible of your personal, private sufferings that your noblest dreams are made, and God's greatest gifts are given in compensation for what you've been through." So that quote, it stuck with me. I really didn't understand it. I wasn't like just turned around in that one moment, but it stayed in my heart for years. And then I began to kind of appreciate everything that was going on in my life, even the bad, because it was helping me to kind of grow into this person that I was now becoming, just like this newly revived and revitalized person. So for your listeners, I would say that quote, if you can kind of reread it or find it or think about it, meditate on it, you are going to be rewarded for everything that you have sacrificed, everything that you've gone through, everything that you've suffered. You will receive compensation for it in one way, shape, or form. You will be restored. You'll be revived, and you will get to that place, but it's just going to take time, and you got to hang in there.
Oh, man. Great words to live by. Thanks for joining me. I hope that you all visit everything that she's doing with her children,
Thank you.
Husband. I mean, we wish you much success. Before you leave, the second part of my show is called the Super Bomb Questions, and it's brought to you by Mountain Made. This is the part where I ask you a little question, and you gotta respond as quickly as possible. You ready?
I am ready.
All right, so here we go. What's your favorite word?
Faith.
You already gave me your favorite quote. What's your superpower?
Helping others to find clarity.
What's your spirit animal?
The phoenix, because I rise.
What moves you to tears of joy?
Oh, my babies.
What moves you to tears of sorrow?
Pain in the world.
What do you wish you had more time to do?
Oh, love without fear and unapologetically.
What is the books or books you've given most as a gift and why?
Well, I gave away probably about $3,000 worth of Faith That Conquers, and even 1,500 words in 15 minutes or less, so that other people can share their story.
What's your morning routine?
Before my feet hit the floor, to say thank you to God.
What values do you live by every day?
Work to help others and be honest.
What guides your heart?
Purpose.
If you were in the Mrs. America talent competition, Christina Marcia Johnson called your whole government name. What talent would you preside and share with the audience?
Oh my goodness. I would want to share singing, but I'm probably not that good at it like I would want to be. So it would be motivational speaking.
Or maybe passing out some books.
Right.
Christine, it's been a joy hanging out with you. I wish you much success. I cannot thank you enough for being such inspiration to all the moms out there, all the parents who might be struggling with their children, to all the children. Right. I guarantee your words will not be done in vain. And I want you all to go and check out her book. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so very much, Dr. Lamar.
Yes, thank you. And I cannot do this without my amazing engineer, Alexander Block, super duper producer, Nicole Klempaka, Supremacy for our theme music, and all of you for listening. Yes. If you want to know more about me, go to drdrlds.com. Make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, stop being stingy, and share me with all of your friends. And as always, believe that something wonderful is going to happen. Yes. But some people miss the message because they're too busy looking for the mess, but not on this show. Thanks for tuning in. And you've been listening to Sound Bombing. Peace.
The Super Balm questions are brought to you by Mountain Made CBD. Mountain Made is changing the CBD game by offering a line of high-dose CBD tablets at an affordable price. Their products are THC-free and third-party tested for accuracy, cleanliness, and potency. Their products, which ship nationwide, include Build for CBD saturation, Boost for precision titration, and Recover for rest and rehab. With 9 years experience in hemp and fitness, Mountain Made's founders are focused on creating a quality product to help those who live an activated lifestyle. Check out mountainmade.life. Again, that's mountainmade.life to find out more about how their products can help you crush life. Remember, their products ship nationwide. Go check out their website today and follow them on social media at Mountain Made. That's the @ MNTMADE. Our staff at Sound Bombing uses Build before a morning workout, which helps to push our bodies to a whole new level on a daily basis. Try Build, try Boost, try Recover. Our staff is using these products to enhance our active lifestyle naturally, and we are crushing life with Mountain Made CBD, and you can too. Start today by going to mountainmade.life and ordering Build, Boost, Recover, or the multitude of other products that they have which will enhance your lifestyle. I promise you, you won't regret it.